Hey guys, today we're going to start Chapter 2, First Degree Equations and Inequalities. Before we get into the notes, hit pause and try these warm-up problems from your textbook. It is the beginning of Chapter 2. These are 10 prerequisite problems that you've seen before. So practice these and put them in your notes. Title it Chapter 2 and pause and work on those 10 problems to begin. All right, section 2.1, equations in one variable. Hit pause and write down the title of the section and these notes right here, and also the first problem, and we will do that together. All right, so number 1, we first have to simplify both sides of the equation. So we're going to distribute the 4 to both pieces in the parentheses. So 4x plus 32 minus x equals 20. Combining like terms, 3x plus 32 equals 20. And now we need to do order of operations in reverse order. So order of operations, PEMDAS. We usually go in that order. We are going to go back up the ladder. So we have two operations on the left-hand side of this equation, multiplication and addition. So if we are doing order of operations backwards, we need to undo addition first. The inverse of addition is subtraction, so we're going to subtract 32 on both sides. 20 minus 32 is negative 12. You do not need to show that step unless you keep making mistakes, then show that step. And then undoing multiplication, the inverse of multiplication is division, so divide both sides by 3. And you will get x to equal negative 4. As always, for these types of problems, you can now use that solution and plug it back in to check your answer. All right, number 2, we now have fractions. Up here I said get rid of fractions. Once you have an equation, you are allowed to add something to both sides, multiply something on both sides. So what you do to the left, you have to do to the right. So you are allowed to multiply number 2 or any equation that has any fractions by some number that will eliminate the denominators. And that is called, the smallest of those numbers is called the least common multiple of the denominators or the least common denominator. So what number would multiply this entire equation by to eliminate both 5 and 3? If you said 15, you are correct. So we're going to multiply the entire equation by 15. So 15, 5 goes in 15 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. We do not multiply the 15 to what is in the parentheses because the 6, when it distributes, will take on that responsibility. And on the right-hand side, 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. If you need to, hit pause and rewind to see where the numbers 6 and 10 came from. If you need to, 5 went into 15 3 times. If you need to, for yourself, to write 2 times the 3, you can do that. All right, now we have an equation that looks like number 1. Hit pause and distribute the 6 and solve this equation for x. All right, you should have gotten x to equal 8/9. You are now in Algebra 2 Honors. Fraction as answers are fine. Get used to seeing answers that are fractions. Just make a note here when you're dividing, always the coefficient of x will be the denominator. A few people in the past have flipped up the order when they skip those steps. So if you need to, always write out each step that works best for you. All right, so 3 and 4. For number 3, we have fractions again. What number could we multiply the entire equation by in order to get rid of the numbers 4 and 3? If you said 12, you are correct. So we're going to multiply the entire equation by 12. 4 goes into 12 3 times, so 3 times x. We cannot forget about the subtraction sign there. So minus. 3 goes into 12 4 times. And we keep the entire numerator in parentheses. And on the right-hand side, do not forget 11 times 12, 132. A lot of people skip that step because they're just focusing on the denominators, but we cannot forget about this guy here. So this is 132. All right, so what I would like you to do is finish off this problem solving for x. Be careful of your negative sign. If you got negative 128/5, you are correct. All right, number 4. We will do number 4 together, and then you can do the next one on your own. Why isn't this writing? All right, there we go. All right, so simplify both sides of your equation. Distribute the 3. So 3x plus 3. And the right-hand side of the equation, combining like terms, 3x plus 5. Move the 3 over. We get 3x equals 3x plus 2. Subtracting 3x on both sides, we end up getting 0 equals 2. Our variable got eliminated, so we don't have a variable anymore. And this is not a 0. This is supposed to be 2. My apologies. 0 equals 2. That is a false statement. That does not make any sense. So that would mean this problem is no solution. When your variable gets eliminated from your equation, meaning the same variable part is on the left and the right, remove it from your equation by subtracting on both sides or adding on both sides. And then if you are left with a false statement, it is no solution. Or if you are left with a true statement, meaning 5 equals 5, 23 equals 23, then that means that any number you plug in will be a solution to your equation. So that type of problem's answer would be all real numbers. So write that down. All right, take a few minutes, hit pause, and try number 5 and number 6. Be careful of the distributive property, distributing negatives, and also finding a number that is the least common denominator to get rid of your denominators. All right, for this one here, you can stop at this step if you see that they're the same, meaning both terms. I always eliminate the variables just so that I know that it is true. And -1 equals -1 is a true statement, so that solution will be all real numbers. All right, pause and do number 6 if you haven't done so already. All right, number 6, the least common denominator would be 12. So we're multiplying the entire equation by 12. 3 goes into 12 4 times. I put that on the outside and I keep the entire numerator in parentheses. 6 goes into 12 2 times. Leave the x minus 3 in parentheses. 12 and 12 cancel out, so 7 is left by himself. Now distribute the 4 and distribute the 2, combining like terms, moving 10 to the other side and dividing by 2. You get x to equal positive 3/2 because it was -3 divided by a -2. All right, one final problem. It's a word problem. The purchase price of a new big screen TV, including finance charges, was $3,276. A down payment of $450 was made. The remainder was paid in 24 equal month payments. Find the monthly payment. So the directions will always, for any of my word problems, will say define your variables. Let the question help you find what your variable is. So find the monthly payment. I'm going to use M. M refers to cost of monthly payment. Take a minute and try to come up with the equation that would represent this problem. If you said the down payment $450 plus 24 equal month payments, that's not a plus, that's an equals, plus 24 times M has to total 3276. You are correct. If not, erase and rewrite this problem, this equation down. All right, go ahead and take a minute and solve this problem for how much your monthly payment is. All right, the M equals 117.75. For any word problem, please write your answer in a sentence so you always check back to make sure you answered the question. So the monthly payment is $117.75. Let me know if you guys have any questions on this section. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.